So let's move on to our next session now, which is the ultimate solution for all non-communicable diseases, three-dimensional healthcare. May I invite our session chair, Jesper Vibe-Hansen, Deputy Head of Mission at Embassy of Denmark, to please join us on the dais. Thank you, please. He would be chairing the session, and we have the keynote address by Dr. Satish Kumar Gupta, who is the Director of Cardiology and Medicine, JWM Global Hospital Research Center, India. So should we start with you, sir?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, speakers. Welcome to this session on the hugely important topic of ultimate solution for non-communicable diseases. It is indeed a great honor for me to be chairing this session on such an important topic and to be introducing the distinguished keynote speaker of this session, Dr. Satish Kumar Gupta. It's a pleasure, sir. It is of the utmost importance that we further the awareness of non-communicable diseases and the ongoing efforts to mitigate their impacts, as non-communicable diseases constitute a major threat to both economic growth and to human well-being, not only in India, but in fact throughout the world. In India, non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, cancers, chronic respiratory diseases and diabetes account for about 40% of hospital stays, I understand, and 60% of all deaths. Actually, the numbers for my own country, Denmark, is considerably higher. It's about 90% of all deaths are caused by non-communicable diseases, so we are talking about a major threat and issue facing our societies here. This makes non-communicable diseases makes it the leading cause of death in this country, but it has, as I mentioned before, an immense negative impact on economic growth in India, as these diseases often kill people at their most productive years in the workforce. As socioeconomic developments continue to reshape the way people live, and as our lifestyles become more sedentary, the deaths and economic costs related to NCDs are likely to increase. According to estimates provided by the World Economic Forum and Harvard School of Public Health, non-communicable diseases will cost the world a staggering $47 trillion in lost economic output from 2010 to 2030 if urgent action is not taken to prevent and treat them. As of today, non-communicable diseases account for about 40 million deaths globally each year. We at the Danish Ministry of Foreign Affairs and at the Danish embassies throughout the world therefore work tirelessly with stakeholders in both private and public sectors to fight non-communicable diseases. We see non-communicable diseases as a global issue that can only be tackled if a diverse range of stakeholders like development agencies, multilateral organizations, non-governmental organizations, academic, institutional, national and state governments, philanthropic organizations and businesses, not least, come together and address this problem in a coordinated and sustained manner. My country, Denmark, has long been at the forefront in the battle against non-communicable diseases. Danish companies like Novo Nordisk has for many years been leading the way with their innovative and world-class medical products for the treatment of diabetes. Danish organizations like the Danish NCD Alliance are raising awareness about non-communicable diseases and are engaging in projects around the world that aim to build up the necessary healthcare infrastructure to combat these frightening diseases. Furthermore, Denmark has hosted the WHO Global Dialogue on Non-Communicable Diseases in Copenhagen this year, an event that aimed to increase financing to national non-communicable disease responses. At the Royal Danish Embassy here in New Delhi, we strongly support the Danish government efforts, and we are firmly committed to tackling non-communicable diseases. We work closely with the Danish private sector and Indian public authorities to help mitigate the damages inflicted by non-communicable diseases in India and improve the quality of life and well-being of the Indian people. The Danish Embassy is honored to participate in this session, and we hope that it will inspire and stimulate further research and investment into this important area of critical importance. With this in mind, I would like to introduce the keynote speaker for this session. I am honored to present to you the distinguished Dr. Satish Kumar Gupta. Dr. Satish Gupta is a renowned researcher and a teacher respected globally for his work on non-communicable diseases. He's a director of cardiology and medicine at JWM Global Hospital and Research Center. He also served, I understand, as faculty on various international and national conferences in India and abroad. He completed his MBBS from, and now my pronunciation might not be correct. Yeah, very good, thank you very much, sir. Delhi University, and received his MD in internal medicine from Lady Hardinge Medical College and associated hospitals at Delhi University. He's a member of several national advisory councils, such as the Indian College of Cardiology, Cardiological Society of India, ILIB, Preventive Cardiology, and Indian Heart Journal. He has authored chapters for various reputed national and international cardiology textbooks, and has twice received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of India. Please, ladies and gentlemen, allow me in welcoming Dr. Satish Kumar Gupta.
Thank you, Chairperson, for such nice and sweet words. And he has already emphasized the need of the hour. We have the epidemic of non-communicable diseases. It's about, in developed countries, about 90% of the people are having non-communicable diseases. In India, it's about 61%. Sri Lanka is ahead of us. It's about 78%. Even Bangladesh is ahead of us. Pakistan is below us. But all over the world, today the problem is non-communicable disease. We have an epidemic of non-communicable disease, out of which, as he has rightly pointed out, is the cardiovascular disease, the number one killer in the world. 30% of all the deaths are happening because of cardiovascular disease. When I say cardiovascular disease, it means heart attacks, it means strokes, it means heart failures. And then we have the cancers, chronic respiratory disease, and the diabetes. These are the four things which are very important, which are sort of we are supposed to address in the right way. There's so many other non-communicable diseases. Actually, today, most of the disease, even migraine is non-communicable, GERD is non-communicable, hypertension, the asthma is non-communicable, irritable bowel syndrome is non-communicable, peptic ulcers are non-communicable, osteoporosis is non-communicable, right? So everything, I think almost we have Now, these are diseases which there is no cure for them. You just keep on taking treatment and you are suffering the whole life, right? You don't have any cure for them. But what today, actually I had this problem 94, 95 when I was at the Scott Heart Institute. I realized this. I had this because I was practicing meditation. So I realized this, that yes, this is a solution. These are incurable diseases. There's a hidden meaning. I realized that hidden meaning inside it is, it does not mean they're not curable. It is in plus curable. It is curable if you go in. So I went in and planned a program. Then Dr. Kalam, we had a meeting with Dr. Kalam because one of the scientists had come to my, listen to my lecture. And then Dr. Kalam called me and then we had a meeting. And then Dr. Kalam said, Dr. Gupta, if you have this thought of doing this research in this area, I am with you, my whole DRDO is with you. And the result is, we started this project. Because I was facing that we were doing angioplasties and bypass surgeries. People were coming back to us after 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, with again another heart attack. And then 40% of people are having diabetes, 40% of having hypertension, 30% were having both of them. Some people also had cancer, prostate cancer, other things happening. So the problem with me was that, what to do. The disease is happening at a younger age. So I'll be sharing with you next 25 minutes or so how to go about, what we have done over the last 21 years. And how we can sort of address this root cause of the problem. This is my hospital at Mount Abu where I shifted in 1995 after I planned this program and submitted to Ministry of Health. This program was, Ministry of Health, okayed this program in October 97. We started having this groups coming to us from all over the country in Feb 98. So now we have 21 years almost. This is my another hospital where I'm, giving my services in Mount Abu. And this is practical model of health, 3-dimensional healthcare model of health, which I'll be talking to you about. This is how we can address all the problems. Because Dr. Kalam was of the opinion that we study the human being as a whole. We have to study the human being as a whole, not only look at the heart disease, but look at as a whole, how the human being responds to present pressures and how we can modify them with 3-dimensional healthcare model of health. Actually, this 3-dimensional healthcare model of health name was given by Dr. Kalam in 2006 when he was inaugurating our first World Congress on Clinical and Preventive Cardiology. I started this World Congress on Clinical Preventive Cardiology in 2006 with the aim that I spread this message to the whole world. The people from US, UK, and every country almost participated. So there, when he was organizing that, because we used to call it mind, body, soul. But he said, no, this is 3-dimension, all the 3-dimension you're addressing, so you use the word 3-dimensional healthcare. So as you're aware that in 2015, we had 62 million people suffering from heart disease in India. And for every one person, there are 2 hidden people, or 3 hidden people. So actually we have a burden of about 180 million people suffering from coronary artery disease in the country. And out of which, like I said, this 60% people are below the age of 50 years. And 2.9 million deaths, documented deaths because of coronary artery disease, CVD. And out of which 1.5 million were below the age of 50 years. So it is not a disease of old people, it is a disease of young people, right? So working young population is being hit the hardest. I just share you some cases. As Mrs. Grover was sharing with us, this is another patient who had angioplasty in 2007, 2010, 2014. He had a bypass surgery done. 2 months again he had a problem. He went to Houston, and then he had, he saw the angiogram. Angiogram was done where all the grafts are blocked off. So he had balloon angioplasty done to all the grafts. Just 4 months later, he started having symptoms again. You can see his angiogram. See, all the grafts are blocked. All the grafts are blocked, choked off. So India has a special problem. Indian people have diffuse disease. 54% of Indian heart patients have diffuse disease. They're not operable. They cannot undergo angioplasty or bypass surgery because of diffuse disease. And like another person that person was having hypertension, diabetes. But this is not hypertension, diabetes. He is without hypertension. He is a lean and thin person. He was obese person. Still, he had an angioplasty in 2013, 2014, 2 stents. 2015, he had a bypass surgery. Again, 2 months later, he started having symptoms. So that is not the treatment. That is fine for primary angioplasty is fine. It is good within 3 hours or within 12 hours. But after that disease, chronic stable angina with multiple blocks, what to do? People in India have diffuse disease, multiple blocks which are not operable. Like this is Mrs. Grover has already told you her experience. 7 stents and 1 bypass surgery in just a span of 9 years. And still she was not able to walk 50 meters. And see this angiogram of this lady. This is how the stents were blocked, and this is how her condition was. Grafts had blocked. Another patient who had seven angioplasties done in just a few years, and still was not able to walk. This so many people like this. In out of 9,000 patients which I have tackled till now, with angiographic documented patients. See this patient. See the angiogram of this patient. How everything is blocked. So what to do with these people? So that is what I was facing in 94, 95 when I planned this project. So basically what we are doing, angioplasty, bypass and stenting, bare metal stenting or drug-eluting stents, that is a state-of-art modern heart care we are having. CABG statins. It is essentially palliative. It does not address the root cause. Root cause is genes. Root cause is mental stress. Root cause is diet, wrong exercise, wrong sleep, wrong tobacco use. These are real culprits. And the present healthcare is only one-dimensional. It addresses only the body. While everyone in the world is aware it's a psychosomatic disease, it's a lifestyle disease, everyone accepts that. So as you are aware that this is how the block-up happens. This is the endothelium. This is how from the age of 4 or 5 years, the plaque, the cholesterol starts building up in the arteries. And when it becomes more than 70%, then we start having symptoms. And then we do angioplasty, put a balloon, inflate the balloon and leave the stent there. We are not addressing the root cause. We are just doing a like plumbing job, The veins, arteries are blocked, we do a plumbing, right? That is what we are doing. And this is how the stents get blocked. We do bypass surgery. Blocks are there. We just bypass the blocks, right? And this is like cutting a tree from the above. The root is very much there. It again becomes a big tree after a few years or a few months. And then the problem remains the same. And our healthcare system is basically primary disease care system. Primary disease, it's not a healthcare system. It's a disease care system. In the US also, 95% of every dollar is spent in treating the disease when the disease happens. Hardly less than 5% is being spent on the prevention of the disease. This disease starts happening from the age of 5 years, 4 years, sometimes for the mother's mom. So rightly said by sister, that we need to start in the childhood. Hypertension, the people have genes from very beginning. Diabetes genes are there from very beginning. How to stop their expression of those genes? That we need to build on. So like in US, they have 2 million heart attacks every year, out of which they do 1.3 million angioplasties in 1 year at a cost of $60 billion, and they do about 4,48,000 bypass surgeries at a cost of 44 billion. So they spend about 104 billions, 150 billions today. These are the figures of 2006. But do they really address the cause? What has been seen over the years is different studies, landmark studies, Courage trial, the OAT trial, the MAS2 trial. They have shown us, despite the cost, angioplasties and stents do not prolong life or even prevent heart attacks in stable patients, chronic angina, stable angina patients. And bypass surgery also does not prolong life. At 10 years, it was seen that they do not prolong life. But if you change the lifestyle, it addresses each and every cell of the body, each and every thought and emotion in the body, in the human being. It not only reverses heart disease, but also reverses many chronic diseases, like hypertension, diabetes, all NCDs. That is what has been documented world over. You must be aware about this landmark study, Inter-Heart study. 30,000 men and women from 52 countries from all the 5 continents, including India. Mental stress was one of the important factors. Fruits, vegetables, you take plenty of them, daily exercise. They have shown that by changing lifestyle, you could prevent at least 90% of all the heart diseases. So this study for the Nobel Prize was given for healthy aging. They have even shown that if you practice meditation, you change your diet, adopt lifestyle modification. Lifestyle modification basically means listening to a biological clock, going by your biological clock. Go to bed early, get up early, don't go by pressures. Have your breakfast at the right time, walk at the proper time, lunch at proper time, dinner at proper time, ventilate your mind properly before going to bed. And that can change even gene expression in hundreds of genes in only a few months. Genes of CAD, coronary artery disease, cancer, obesity, hypertension, SLE, rheumatoid arthritis can be turned off, whereas protective genes can be turned on within a few months by practice of this, right? So we have to realize the truth, right? This is the truth. And this is what we started this study in Feb 98, where Global Hospital Mount Abu and with DRDO, we had a joint venture where 3 tertiary cardiac centers and Ministry of Health, they were working with us. They sponsored this program. And this study was published in 2011 in the InnoHEALTH journal. And in 2013, we got a message from US BioMedLib. It's our body which takes care of all the researches in the world. And they told us that your study in last 2 years has shown that in the top 20 studies in this category, top 20 research articles, your study is number 1 in the top 20 studies in the world. That is most cited, most visited by the researchers, doctors, and public alike. And it continued to be at that place for 2 years and 4 months, up to 2015, number 15. It remained number 1. It was one of the sort of very important things that an Indian study conducted in India became number 1 in top 20 researches in the world in the field of cardiology. And then in 2017, American Heart Association scientific statement on meditation and cardiovascular risk reduction. Risk reduction means anything like hypertension, diabetes, other factors, smoking and other factors, obesity, dyslipidemia, other factors also. They have issued that your study, along with Dr. D. Non's study, your study is bigger than his study. They have documented that the use of Raj Yoga meditation, diet, exercise, proper sleep, and de-addiction is the right method to get rid of heart disease, coronary blockages, and hypertension, diabetes, and tackling insulin resistance. So they documented this as this study in the world. And in this study, it's a multidisciplinary research project in which cardiologists, endocrinologists, clinicians, spiritualists, nutritionists, fitness experts, psychologists, and physiologists. We all are working for last 21 years in this program. And to adopt it for a unique, user-friendly, healthy lifestyle program, we call it 3-dimensional health and happiness lifestyle program. And this I told you about Mount Abu Open Heart Trial. Another trial which is under publication is Abu Healthy Heart Trial. It's a randomized control trial. One is a meditation lifestyle group and other is control group. The difference between 2 groups is only stress management through meditation. Diet, exercise remains the same, medication remains the same. See, we did everything. We did psychological analysis, we did the hormonal analysis, we did the EEG, heart rate variability, all the hormones, and all the patient. Every patient was given information, education, counseling, training about heart disease, body, how the body functions, lifestyle, everything was informed to them, both the groups. And difference between them is only meditation. A structured program was given to them how to manage stress through meditation. And these people were told, whatever you're doing prayer, doing Hatha yoga, whatever you're doing, do it more. But don't be stressed. Be free from stress. Be type B, not type A. Avoid anxiety, anger, depression, whatever. And angiography was repeated at 6 months. They were followed on a daily basis, and every month they had a program attendance charts, and they were coming to us at 3 months interval every month, every 3 months or 6 months. And then we repeated angiograms. Our 80% patients had double vessel disease or triple vessel disease. That means they were advanced disease people, and all the data was analyzed by independent people. They were independent observers for every study, every parameter. Angiographies were also coded, and they were sort of analyzed by independent people, not connected to the study. See, people who are not able to walk 100 meters, like this lady who was not able to walk 50 meters, now they walk about 3 kilometers per day without any problem, without any pain. And the number of nitrate tablets, they came down significantly, where on the control group they increased. Ejection fraction, which was, after heart attack, the ejection fraction, pumping power of the heart goes down from normally 60% goes down to 30%, 20%. But that means you were able to regenerate myocardium. Exercise tolerance increased. The bad cholesterol, LDL, decreased by 31%. That time was not the time of statins. So with most of the patients were without statins. And HDL, good cholesterol, increased. Triglycerides decreased. Ratio decreased. And 93% patients could open their blocks. We had analyzed 464 lesions, and out of which 93% patients could open their blocks. I'll just show you a few angiograms. See this, you can imagine this. 80% of people, this is a block here, 80% block, there's a defect here, and it has opened us. So beautifully it has opened. Can we have the lights dim, please? So that they can appreciate properly. You can have the light, you can make it off if possible. You can view this. This is how the angiograms have opened up. And see this, a long block from here to here, it has opened up, right? It's a diffuse, I told you, India has diffuse disease. People have diffuse disease, right? So see this, how beautifully it has regressed. See, even 100% block, we had 100% calcified blocks, out of which 29 blocks have opened up. We had not taken these blocks in our study, but to our surprise, they had also opened up. See, this 100% calcified block has opened up. See, these multiple blocks all have opened up. See, 80 and 90% block, they have opened up. See, this patient had 2 heart attacks, 2 myocardial infarction, anterior and inferior wall MI. Ejection fraction had become 30%. And you can see this, now it has become 45%. That means ejection fraction, the regeneration of myocardium has taken place without stem cell therapy. 80% block has opened up. See this patient after heart attack, he had a 20% ejection fraction. Most of the heart muscle had died. But after this program, after 1 year, see this ejection fraction has become 50%. Now myocardium is again contracting beautifully. See this, another 100% block has opened up. This is not magic. The people have done this. People have used this lifestyle. Control group, all the blocks have increased in spite of the same 0 oil diet and exercise. Why? We have documented, we have a database of 9,000 patients. The psychological database in angiograms and repeat angiograms. We have documented that for every block, there is a thought pattern. Unless you change that thought pattern, you cannot open the block. You change the thought pattern of the person, the block will disappear, right? So that is what is needed. It is the mind which is the culprit, right? You need to change the mind, change your thinking pattern. Change the thinking pattern, block will open up. See this, another control group, it has increased. Another angiogram I'll show you. This is a 100% block here. It has opened up, right? 100% block, you can see cutoff here, and the repeat angiogram you can see the whole thing has come up. It has beautifully come up. So the events, over now we have a follow-up 21 years. Actually, this is the earlier study. Over 3 years, you can see 9 versus 38 events with a risk ratio, odds ratio of 11, which is the highest recorded in the literature in the world. See, the people normally say in science, we say that you cannot change the personality. But in this study, we have seen that people who are practicing meditation, the type A behavior has become type B behavior, anxiety has regressed markedly, depression has regressed markedly, anger has regressed, healthy lifestyle change has happened, and overall feeling of well-being has improved significantly as compared to control group. And the people could stop their smoking and alcohol. People in the control group, they stopped for a month, again restarted because they had no willpower. They again started because they felt that this is, when they felt little better, they started again. I'll just show you the EEG. Just to measure meditation, what is the effect of stress and meditation? We had practiced this already at DPAS, the effect of stress. But these patients, on day 1, we did their EEG. Beta rhythm is present with the eyes open. And gamma rhythm is when you are under stress, type A behavior, anxiety, anger, depression, then becomes gamma. That goes beyond 18, 19, 30, 25, 35, 45. That anger is 40, 45. So that becomes gamma rhythm. So they were having a beta rhythm. Alpha is a peaceful rhythm. When you close your eyes, you become peaceful. That is peace. alpha rhythm is, theta rhythm is when you start accepting things as they are. That is love. It's also called a loveful rhythm. And gamma rhythm is present deep sleep. That's a happy and blissful rhythm, right? So just after 7 days, you can just see alpha rhythm has improved significantly. That means person is now being more in the present. And beta rhythm, see this is decreased markedly. Theta rhythm, now person has started accepting things as they are, right? And delta rhythm has also improved significantly. That is happy and blissful rhythm. And see, with the eyes open, it is much better, rather as eyes closed. So it's a conscious training of mind. Raj Yoga meditation is conscious training of mind. It's not closing your eyes. It's not doing any mudras or anything. Just change of consciousness from outer self-conscious to inner self-conscious. See this, alpha rhythm is improving. Even 7 days, it is significantly has improved. Beta rhythm is coming down. Theta rhythm, even loveful rhythm is improving. After 1 year, delta rhythm has improved significantly. That means now person is as relaxed as he's sleeping, talking, doing work, and as relaxed as absolutely relaxed. So that is what is happening, right? So we also did heart rate variability. It's actually it's a function of sympathetic and parasympathetic activity. Sympathetic response is fight and flight response, and parasympathetic is relaxation response. Day one, when these patients came to us, they were having they were highly sympathetic overactive, fight and flight response, and parasympathetic activity was very less. Day 7, there's significant change. Sympathetic activity has decreased, parasympathetic activity has gone up. 1 year, there's a complete harmony. Life is full of challenges, but we have to face challenges with a calm mind, with a relaxed mind, not with a irritated mind, right? That is what teaches us. And at 2 years, again, there was a significant harmony, complete harmony. And the hormones, we did the catecholamines. Control group, there was hardly any change, but on day 7 itself, adrenal levels changed. Noradrenal levels changed, and then further they decreased as we followed the study. Then serotonin and beta, these are happy hormones. Beta endorphins are natural morphines, which come out when you think positive, as I told you in the beginning. So day 7 itself, there is significant increase in endorphin levels, serotonin levels. These are happy hormones. Control group, there was hardly any change. Then we also did the cortisol levels, 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. samples, both in blood and urine. 24-hour urine sample. This work was done by DRDO with us, because they had all the facilities to conduct. Those 70 people used to come in every group. And see this day 7 control group here, and the day 7 itself, there's 25% decrease in morning 8 a.m. samples. Cortisol levels come down. We told them that to have positive team only up to 8 a.m. Positive thoughts, positive emotions, positive attitude up to 8 a.m. And that is what they did. And that is how their cortisol levels have come down. And 4 p.m. samples has also the cortisol levels have come down. Now the person is having peaceful morning, peaceful working, and peaceful evening, right? So if you can take care of that your team, mind, positive team, and that comes from truth, from being consciousness. Truth is being consciousness, soul consciousness. You realize that I'm a being, and that is what is happening in both the studies. And the insulin, the biggest problem today in the world is what? Insulin resistance. Indians or world over, people do not have deficiency of insulin. People today have, because of stress, our cortisol levels are high. We have more cortisol coming from day, because half an hour later, as you get up, cortisol starts coming out as per your thoughts and emotions, attitudes and memories. If you're negative thought, negative memory, negative emotions, then you come out with more cortisol, and then throughout the day you are in pressures, irritated, anxiety, fear. All the time we talk with each other, with wife, with children, in an irritated manner, under pressure. But if you can take care of your up to 8 a.m. your team positive, keep your team positive, be soul conscious up to 8 a.m. Then your cortisol level will come down, insulin level will come down by 13%. Patients who were on 80 units of insulin, you won't accept that, but I also would not accept that as a scientist. But we could get rid of 80 units of insulin within a week, 50 million units of insulin within a week. Now today, thousands of patients we have more than 2,000 patients who are off anti-diabetic drugs. out of about 5,000 patients, they are off anti-diabetic drug. They are only controlled with diet and exercise. People who are on insulin, OHAs, this is documented. And now for last 4 years, I'm working totally on insulin resistance with diabetics. And we have shown that how with meditation, diet, exercise, you can modify their insulin resistance, and your insulin becomes more sensitive and cortisol levels come down, and the sugar gets under control. So that is how basically the real problem is reduce your cortisols, insulin levels will come down. Insulin resistance will disappear, and change your exercise and everything, everything will fine. So what is the natural history? How the non-communicable disease happens? Any disease, psychic phase is there. First, there is excessive and repeated psychic trauma, lack of love, insecurity, isolation, anger, hostility, fear, job stress, all negative mental tendencies. CNS becomes hyperactive, you become irritable, you become hyperactive, you can feel insomnia, mild tremors in the limbs. And when you are having, CNS becomes hyperactive, your neurons are releasing more acetylcholine, and then in response to your insecurity, you are releasing more catecholamines, adrenaline. And then person looks worried and anxious, always thinks of some impending disaster. And psychosomatic phase, when the psychosomatic, then the effect starts coming on the body. If same situation continues from few days to few years, few years, what is happening? You have functional disturbances coming up. For the first time, when you're feeling weak, you'd go to the doctor. Your sugar used to remain 70, 80 in the fasting. PP used to be 110, 120. The first time your sugar comes down to 300, you're surprised. Why? Because it's constant effect of that negative. Acetylcholine is high, catecholamine is high, cortisol levels are high. The cortisol level starts building up in the body. From liver, glycogen starts coming out, right? And then more insulin starts coming out. And then you feel more hungry. Your insulin levels increase your blood pressure, right? And then the HDL goes down, triglyceride increase. So that's how dyslipidemia happens. So diabetes comes in. Your heart rate, which used to remain 70, 80, it becomes 110. Your BP used to be 110, 120, 180, 120 by 80. Now doctor tells you your BP is 200 by 120. First time that is how this effect of psyche comes on the histamine starts coming out. You start having flare phenomena, wheel and flare phenomena, not only in the skin but also in the arteries. The skin becomes endothelium becomes more permeable to cholesterol. Endothelial dysfunction starts happening, and then somatic phase comes in. And then once the acetylcholine levels go down, catecholamines is up, histamine is up, 5-HT also comes in. Then function of all the target organs increase, especially the target organ. Everyone is born with a target organ. In someone it may be heart, in someone may be pancreas, someone may be lungs, someone may be head, someone may be bones, right? On that organ, the maximum effect happens. If it is heart, coronary arteries start blocking, stomach you start developing ulcer, thyroid you start hypo or hyperthyroidism. Then here comes the role of genes. Genes are like seeds. Genes are like you get from parents, but genes will germinate. Seeds will germinate only when you give earth to them. You put them in a utensil, they will not germinate. You have to provide earth to them. Earth is negative mind, negative team. When you have negative thing, all the time thinking negative, what is happening is your negative team is happening, and then the genes get seed, the seed gets earth, and then environmental factors start coming in. That wrong diet, because the wrong food, wrong diet, that's like water. Water we are giving to the seed, so they start germinating faster. Wrong air. We close our doors, we feel insecure, we are in the air conditioning, we are air conditioning, and all the time we have a lot of pollution happening, and then wrong sleep, environmental factor. That is how our arteries get blocked, and then this is where we reach when the block is there, heart attack is there, or ultimate diabetes or hypertension is there, cancer is there, then we reach the doctor. Doctor does the angioplasty operation, and he says, fine, that is not the treatment, that is not the cure, that is only superficial cure, tip of the iceberg. And so we need to treat at the early stage for complete and lasting recovery. So that is what my message is. I think I just finished this, and I think these are different studies which I do not need to document in the Word. I just go to the end slide. This is different models of health have come in: biomedical model of health, biopsychosocial model of health, biopsycho-spiritual model of health, and then we had three-dimensional healthcare model, which was given, and this is how the different people in the world have accepted. And now the American, in US also 106 medical schools have adopted spirituality as a mode of care, and now we have this model. I think so this is how we treat our people. People come in the group with a spouse. We teach them about the body. This is the food. We walk. We sort of, even people without leg also walk. We have meditation sessions, group support sessions, and we also dance, and we sort of educate our children, primordial and primary prevention. We go to the whole, we have it so much of, we awareness campaigns where we go to the whole country and spread this message to the whole country, in the villages also. Till now we have 9,000 patients, 147 groups, and 9,000 angiograms and psychological database, and it has reached almost 145 countries, this program. And so take-home message is this: be natural, be self-conscious, not body or role conscious. Realize that I am a peaceful soul, I am a being soul. I was born peaceful, loveful, happy, not as an angry person, not as an anxious person. For this, practice meditation for half an hour for blissful stage. Up to 8 a.m. remain in positive, as far as possible silent. Practice only positive team. And for the body, physical care, that is third dimension. Eat natural, what, when and how. At the proper time, breakfast 8 to 9, lunch 1 to 2, dinner 6 to 7, as far as possible, with a peaceful mind. Cook the food with a peaceful mind, eat with peaceful mind, have morning walk with sunrise, 45 minutes, have proper sleep, and proper use of medication. If angioplasty bypass required, go for it, but remember, that is not the treatment, that is not the root cause. You are not treating the root cause. Change your lifestyle, you will be healthy and happy. Thank you for a patient listening.
Thank you very much to Dr. Gupta for this very, very interesting and fascinating presentation and thought-provoking presentation. And thank you very much for the huge body of work you have done within this area. As far as I understand, now we have a little bit of time for a question and answer session.
No, actually we are running short of time
We are
now.
running short of time.
So I think we'll have to skip the question and answers, and if you meet Dr. Gupta outside, so please get your clarifications there, because we have another session to run on to, kind of. So I'll like to request Rear Admiral V.K. Singh to please come on the dais and give a small token of love and appreciation to our guests. Can we have them? Thank you so much for joining us here, Dr. Gupta. Thank you so much for joining us, Jesper, Vibe-Hansen. Thank you so much for being here today. It was lovely having both of you here. And when we are talking about innovations, I think this is something which is personal innovations that we need to really think about and to change our lifestyle accordingly as well.
Yeah, just a quick announcement. We are going for a very big diabetes program, awareness, innovative methods of diagnosis, behavior modification. Gupta will also be with us, and there are 15 of other people. And you find people, the hero, and experiment with sugar, and they are the people who have taken onus of responsibility to do that. Denmark definitely is supporting us on that, and I hope we go along with them for this big exercise. And as it is, we have been telling the insurance company, go for prevention so that you don't pay the bill of insurance of the cure. So that is what they have understood now, and with their support, I suppose we'll do that. Thank you.